Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Unfound Podcast channel on YouTube. I am, of course, Unfound's host, Ed Densel. Hope everybody is doing great out there. This will be a map analysis for the disappearance of Ryan Shtuka, and this is an episode that came out on May 20th of 2022. I urge you to give this video a thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber to this channel, please consider doing so. And please consider also becoming a member of this channel by hitting the join button right below this video. So I'm going to go through the path, a couple different paths. Of course, in the interview that I did with Ryan's mother, Heather, she talked about how turning left, turning right. I'm going to go through that with you and her and show you why it's important to go one direction and not the other. And then I'm going to show you a wider view of this entire area. Now, you should know, even in trying to set this video up and trying to find the best picture, it's not easy. The most recent satellite photos of Sun Peaks, which is what you're looking at here. This is the actual area, and I'm going to go through the locations here in a moment. It's kind of hard to diagram these maps when everything is so snow-covered. So I had to go back to a picture on Google Earth Pro from 2012. So you're seeing that up here in the left-hand corner. This is historical imagery. I went back to a picture from 2012 so you could get a really good idea, get some good contrast. So just when you look at the screen, everything's not just white. So please keep that in mind because it's going to become very important in a moment. However, what I will tell you in general is that between 2012 and those recent pictures from 2020, there's been a ton of construction that has gone on in Sun Peaks. And I think Heather mentioned that in the interview of how much this area has grown in the last 10 years, and even maybe since Ryan went missing. Now, the reason this is important is because the building where this party was that night that Ryan disappeared is not even on this map. The building did not exist yet, and it is right there. See these bushes right here? That is where the house is now. That's where the party was, but in 2012, August of 2012, it did not exist yet. So please keep that in mind. And I can even show you, going over how this historical imagery works. You go to 2020, whoops, didn't slide it over far enough, Ed. You can see, once again, you can see how white it is. You don't get a lot of contrast. I think this would just bother your eyes. But that's the building right there. That's the building as it is in 2020. But going back once again to the same photo in 2012, it's not there. So there's that. Now, where is Ryan's house? I'm going to show that to you. And I got these locations from the documentary that was done on Ryan. I recommend you watch it. It's 23 minutes long. It is free. It is on YouTube. This is where he was living right there. That is how close. From there, these bushes right here, these trees, to right there. That is where he was living right at the time. You can see this is Burfield Drive, and this is Sun Peaks Road. Now, I did do, using regular Google Maps, I did a distance. We talked about like in kilometers. But this would be as the crow flies straight from one house to the other. I did this using Google Maps, once again with all the white. And you will see down here, 632 feet. From there, where the party house was, to where Ryan lived. That is it. 632 feet. That is shorter than many of the disc golf baskets that I play. Now, though, in looking at that, as was described by Heather, and if you watch the documentary, there's a reason that people don't go straight from there, maybe through these woods and over to here, especially if it is snowed. You heard that we're not talking like like what Americans are used to with snow. Of course, we have some bad snowstorms, and certainly there are areas of the United States in Utah, Montana, that can get a lot of snow. But in Sun Peaks, British Columbia, we're talking feet of snow, not 1 foot, 2 feet. We're like 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. Who is really going to try to want to walk through that? Nobody. And that's why you have snowshoes. You can get up on top of the snow and walk on that. But of course, Ryan did not have those kind of shoes that night. So this is why he and anybody else who wanted to go from this road over to this road would have to take another direction. And so that's what I'm going to show you right now. Which, as you can see, certainly elongates the entire trip. Once again, from here to here, 630 feet. That is, I'm going to say it again, that's it. There are professional disc golfers that can easily throw their disc farther than that on flat ground. So, as you heard Heather talk, there was two choices. You could either exit this house and go left, which would be probably the proper thing to do, or you could go right, but in snow like they were having, it could get very adventuresome. And you heard how the roommate admitted afterwards, this other roommate, that he had left, gone right, figured out that he was going the wrong way, turned around, and then went the whole way around there to get home. Now you can see that adds a considerable amount of distance. In metric terms, it's over. It wants me to an update. Thank you, computer. And it's over. It's not a half mile, but it's somewhere between an eighth and maybe it is a half mile to go from there to there. I don't even know if I can diagram it. But you can certainly tell it's maybe 4 times as long as going just straight. So we get maybe over here, kind of breaking that down. Probably 4 times as long. So let's say 2,400 feet, which it's getting pretty close to a half mile. A mile is, 5,270 feet, I think. But it's just about a half mile if you're walking around this way. Whereas here, it's not even an eighth of a mile. But you can see there is a road. If you go out left, just go right around there and walk home. Still a half mile. Still not very long. Whereas if you go this way, you can see there's not technically a road. You get over here to maybe this area. There seems to be an opening, but it's surely not a road. It's probably not plowed. It probably has 4 or 5 feet of snow in it. And that is exactly the reason that this other roommate started going this way and said, wait, I got to turn around, and went the other way. And of course, he got home. And this was just minutes before Ryan decided to leave that early morning. Now, here's where everything gets very complicated. When I zoom out, this is what Heather, her husband, the rest of her family, volunteers, law enforcement, dogs, drones, ATVs, whatever you want, whatever sort of person, human or animal or mechanical device you want to talk about. This is what they're tasked with searching. It's daunting is a word that comes to mind. It's daunting. And of course, this satellite view is not going to show how big these mountains are. Remember, they're skiing here, so that the mountains are considerable. And go down this way. It's maybe a little more sparse, but still, to even think about this, it's daunting. Probably it's nothing about this is good. It's all horrible. Horrible. The saving factor might be, as they continue to search, is that given the temperature, given the snow, that probably, if we are to believe that Ryan is not with us anymore, is he couldn't have gone that far. And to put it in American terms, a couple miles. So for metrics system, maybe 5 kilometers, something like that. Whereas, let's say we were talking about, if it wasn't this time of year, February in Canada, let's say it was in July or June in Canada where it's much nicer, Ryan, whatever sort of mental state, whatever happened here, he could go for miles and miles and miles. So, but just looking at this, you can just tell it's daunting. I don't care, Texas EquiSearch, anybody, they're going to look at this and just see how difficult it is. You don't know what direction he went. If he did go the wrong direction, as the roommate did before him, he goes into here, and who knows how, we just don't know it was in his head. Of course, if you want to believe there was foul play, then maybe none of this matters. But I just want to show this all to you for all of you to understand how it was. If he could walk it straight, been there in a minute. Even walking around this way, maybe a 10-minute walk, as Heather talked about, but if he went the wrong direction, then anything is possible. And in fact, unfortunately, he could have even made a left and gone the right direction, but still gotten lost. Still maybe not in the right frame of mind. Just don't know. But it is daunting. So that is the map analysis for the disappearance of Ryan Shtuka. I hope you found it helpful. And maybe you'll see me again soon doing a map analysis for one of Unfound's next episodes. Thanks for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up.